Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello everybody, Michael Quarles with the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show, and welcome to Monday morning. Today we have podcast episode number 197. Man, we are close to 200. Thank you guys so much for helping me do this. And oh, by the way, if any of you would like to, feel inclined to, please go to iTunes reviews and review the podcast if you like it. I'd appreciate it. That would be great. Today we have 5 questions sent in by real estate investors. And remember, if you have a question, send it to support@michaelquarles.com. And Quarles is spelled Q-U-A-R-L-E-S. Here we go. Question number 1. Do Ryans and Alexes do anything else other than talk to sellers? The Alex doesn't. They're pretty much there to answer the phone and do follow-up. Now, the Ryans, depending on what type of Ryan they are, we let them change this because it does get boring after a while. Change it meaning they get to swap out duties. But we have a Ryan that their job is to do all the cursory CMAs. But other than that, no, they just talk to people. And I think that's the important part. I'm not a big believer in having one person do everything. I'm a big believer in systemization where you have people do certain tasks for you. And not that I'm afraid that they'll go out there and start their own real estate investment company. I hope each one of them do. So it's always something I welcome. But it's just they can do their job really well. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't think it's important that they cross-learn. So my philosophy on that is if someone could learn 3 positions in your company, then you pretty much have positions covered. So in case one of those people or one of those positions aren't available that day, or you need an extra person in that position, you can pull and cover that position. So I think that's important. But no, they just talk to people. Question number 2. For the owners you don't get under contract, do you refer them to a broker? And if so, how much do they pay you? I used to in the local ones, but not really anymore. Now that we're buying nationally, that'd be a pain in the you-know-what. And even when I did it for the local ones, I didn't track it because it was the honor system. Let's face it, if I found out that they were selling something that I tried to buy and then they give me a commission on it, being a broker, then I wouldn't give them another job or opportunity. And I would just take 33% of the commission that they earn, so a third. So if they listed it for 6, the buyer's agent or the selling agent would get half of that typically, so they would get 3. And then the listing agent would get 3. I would end up getting a percent. Now, when you have a seller that you've made an offer on, and you do have a program where you're referring that out. Now, keeping in mind, unless you're a broker, it's virtually, it's breaking most laws for the agent or the broker to give you back a commission on that because it's part of the licensing requirements or rules that they have to follow. But anyway, if you are a broker, then make sure that the seller reserves you on the listing agreement. So in the listing agreement, it's typically an exclusive right to sell. So there's 3 types, but typically everybody uses that one. And there's a spot for your name to go or your business name to go. So if the seller ever does decide to sell it to you and doesn't want to go ahead and fall forward with the listing agreement, then you can step in and actually buy it without them reserving you. Then that agent's still obligated. Now, you should have that same kind of thing, although you can't really, it's not contractual, unless you become the co-listing agent, and I wouldn't want to do that. Even on a co-listing, I don't think you could do that. But yeah, I wouldn't want to be a co-listing agent on a listing agreement, but I guess you could. But I would want to have that same requirement, just verbal form, with the person I was referring to. So I would want to make sure that they knew that if my seller that I referred to them decided to go ahead and sell it to me, that I wanted them to release that just in the case of the seller not reserving me. Now, it's not up to the agent, it's up to their broker, unless that your agent is the broker, because all listings are owned by the broker. So you can list your house with someone who's an agent who works underneath a broker's license of somebody else's. And you virtually are having that broker as your listing agent. So just understand that. Question number 3. You said you send out about a series of 6 letters and postcards. You also said that you get about a 1.5% response rate. Is that an average of all 6 mailing? I hope not. Or if I mail 10,000 on each mailing, should I get 150 calls after 6 mailings or 150 calls for each mailing? You should get about on average. Now, some of them are going to be lower, some of them are going to be higher, but a 1.5% is a pretty good average. So each time you mail, that's the whole concept of mailing each time and using cluster marketing. Great question. The importance is just to do it and start tracking your numbers, which is why we always use different phone numbers for each mail piece. We use different phone numbers in different areas. So I have 1-800 sell for cash. That's pretty much exclusive right now to our pay-per-click. So our pay-per-click only uses that phone number. Where I used to use that phone number on postcards as well, I have a tendency of not doing that as much. So I can track my pay-per-click, although pay-per-click's real easy to track with some of the analytics that Google and all those folks have. So, yep, 1.5% is a good average because your yellow letters are going to get greater than your postcards and your professional letters are going to get greater than postcards, those kinds of things. So 1.5 is a pretty good number to stick to. And if you're finding that you're not getting a contract every 1 in 34, 1 in 35, 1 in 36 phone calls of someone saying, hey, I want to sell my house, we really need to look at what you're saying and how you're trying to convert and your speech patterns and your negotiation style. So, because that's the number. I've seen it all the way up to 1 in 92, which, boy, that would be harsh. And I've seen it as low as, I've had some experience as low as 1 in 9. So understand that, yeah, the concept is we want to get the phone to ring. But the big picture is we want to buy a house, contract it, carry it through to the closing, carry it through the reclosing because of the sell, and put money in your account. So that's really the number we want to look at. And, everybody gets caught up in, the percent rate. Well, let's face it, if I'm in a $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 market compared to someone else who's in a $100,000 market, if I got the same percent rate that they did, man, I'd be happy. But if I got 1 in 6 or 1 in 7 ratio, then I'm getting equal response rates. So again, look at the bottom line number at the end of the day.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 4. Do you have any advice on how I could stay as confident as you are when negotiating the terms and price of a deal? Yeah, I do. I think it's kind of like saying, what hand do you write with? Well, I write with my right hand. Now, I can scribble with my left hand. But if someone hands me a pen and wants me to sign something, fill out a form, whatever, I'm doing it with my right hand. And so the confidence is that's my dominant hand. That's how I do things. So if you looked at negotiation and terms and price and all that kind of good stuff, the same way, that's the only way you do it. And you make it that matter of fact. Like if someone handed me a clipboard and say, hey, fill out this form, but you can only use your left hand, I'd look at them like they were crazy. Well, sometimes investors, that's kind of what we do, is we're so chameleon, or we're just so, because we don't understand terms maybe, that we just go to default to one way, and that's the only way. Or we don't know how to explain it, so we get trapped into a way that we really don't need or can't do. So learn it, be as comfortable with it as the hand you write with, and fall forward and don't deviate. I mean, I was asked a long time ago, well, how do you buy so many houses subject to? And at the time, I said, well, that's the only way I can buy a house. I mean, I didn't have any choice. So if you limit yourself to that choice or that option only, well, you'll find, like if you woke up today and you said, the only way from now until the end of wherever or whenever I'm going to buy houses is subject to the existing loan or seller financing. I'm not ever going to put more than 5% down on a house. If that's the rule, if that's the business model, and you stuck to it, guess what? I guarantee if you stuck to it, then all of the houses you buy would fall within that guideline. However, we kind of deviate from our own guidelines, and we shouldn't. So that would be my advice. Be confident to understand negotiation terms, understand embedded commands, mimicking, pacing, neurolinguistics, positive, negative reinforcements, alternate choices, and always go for the close. And yeah, we're salespeople, people. I mean, we really are. We're salespeople. It's okay. We can be ethical salespeople, and that's okay too. It's just not okay to be unethical salespeople. So if you have a hard time believing that you're a salesperson, or you deny that you're a salesperson, be careful with that, because every person that I know that has any amount of money and any quote unquote success in life, they're selling something. They're selling their personality. They're selling a product. They're selling their language. They're selling something. The way they communicate, there's, what they represent. They're selling something. They figured out what someone else wants, and they figured out how to communicate what they have with that somebody else wants in a fashion that causes that other person who wants it to go ahead and receive it. And it's selling. Okay? That's what it is. Question number 5. Can you tell me how much and how long your coaching program is? I can. That would be a great conversation. All you have to do is jump on michaelquarles.com, go to the little coaching tab where it says application, fill out that thing based upon the answers. Then we'll have a conversation. It will take you all the way through to the pricing, and you can sign up on your own as well. So, I mean, we don't even have to have a conversation. I may give you your money back if I find that you don't qualify. But yeah, you can sign up all by yourself. I'd rather not talk about it on a podcast. I don't think it's appropriate. Too much anyway. Although I guess I just have been talking about it for 30 or 40 seconds. But I hope that makes sense. Thanks, guys, for the questions. I think the question number 4 is, how do you stay as confident as maybe you think I am? I think that's just going to fall back to experience. I always tell my coaching students, one of the ways that you can practice with yourself. We have recorders on our cell phones. I have an iPhone and a little recorder button I can push. Start talking to yourself. Start communicating with yourself. Start closing with yourself. Yeah, talk to yourself. It sounds like we're maybe psycho or something, but it helps. And then when you listen back to it, man, did you stutter? Because if you can't talk to yourself in a fashion that causes some reasonable communication style, well, then how in the heck are you going to be able to talk to a seller? I mean, if we have a hard time saying when I come out today at 3:00 to buy your house, or will all the decision makers be there when I come to buy your house today, or you'd like to have your house sold, right? Is that what I'm hearing you say? So if you could sell your house to me today, that's what you would want, right? And if you can't say those things and put some body language in it, then by yourself without being in front of a seller, you're never going to be able to say it in front of a seller, because it'll sound like, okay, well, thanks for inviting me over to look at the house. I'll call you back. And when that happens, someone like me will go out there and be the gorilla that we're supposed to be and actually take a contract. Is I'm not going to let what I don't know at the moment interfere with taking a contract, because it's not big enough to interfere. I may find something out that I didn't know, that I wasn't sure if I understood completely, that would cause me to cancel my contract. That's different. That's okay. But there's nothing that's so huge that will stop me from taking a contract. If a seller says, I think my house is worth $400,000, I think it's only worth like $399, well, I'm certainly going to take a contract, assuming they were at 60 cents on the dollar. But if they thought 400, but I thought maybe 350, and they'd still sell it to me for 60 cents on the dollar, I'd probably still take the contract. I'd figure it out. I'll spend $150 on a BPO and see if they're right or if I'm right. If they're right, well, then great. If I'm right, I just renegotiate. That's all. If you look at your contract, especially if you use mine, and you can download my 3-page contract for free, just going to the site and plugging in your email and your name and all that kind of good stuff. But if you look at mine, the appraisal clause is pretty clear. It has to appraise for what they thought it should appraise for. So if they say, hey, my house is worth $400 and you only think it's worth $350, but you put $400 there. Now you're buying it for, $200, doesn't matter. It must appraise for what they said it should appraise for. Boy, that clarity of honesty right there in that statement is pretty terrific. And, the seller reads that, they sign it, they agree to it. So if there's any doubt, they're going to start changing their opinion because they know this contract's contingent upon the truth that they said or what they believe to be the truth. So fall forward. But yeah, four is an important one. Your response rate, number 3, yeah, worry about it, but worry about how much money you're making at the end of the year, not how many calls you got. Now, if you're not getting any calls, well, then we got to worry about that. But if you're getting calls and you're not closing 1 in 34, 35, or 36, then we've got to think about that and see what we're doing wrong. But at the end of the day, it's what you're making at the end of the year. And thanks for the questions. Till tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.